right. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Um, yeah, the name of this video is going to be 95% of you YouTube truthers are, you don't got the truth, man. Or I'll think of some type of title for the video, okay? But, the Spirit got on me recently. I would say maybe 4 days ago, I thought of making this lesson, okay? Um, so hey, here we are 4 days later. So I finally got around to making it. So I'm just gonna share my faults on some of the stuff I've seen over the years, man. Now I myself I've been in this truth for 6 years. Okay. So yeah, you could consider me hey, a little guy in this truth. However, the scriptures say that and the scriptures tell you. I just read the other day in the book of Psalms. King David said that hey, my age is as nothing before the Lord. Yeah, the Lord's not looking at how old you are, man. All right, the Lord isn't looking at how old you are. Um, for example, if that was the case, what about Jesus, right? When you read in the Gospels in Luke the second chapter, Jesus, right, who they call Jesus, he was on his own when he was 12 years old, man. And he was in the temple teaching with the older wise men. Okay, which that for one proves that you become a man at around 12. All right, but it just shows, man, that when you're dealing with the Most High, your physical age means nothing. The scriptures tell you in the book of Psalms, I believe it's the 32nd chapter, or not Psalms, Job, the 32nd chapter. Um, Great men are not always wise, neither do the aged understand judgment. Okay, so yeah, even though I've been in this truth for just 6 years, I could study enough to come up on such a level that you might be able to take on an apostle. Like an example, the one brother, I think what is his name, Gorilla Hebrew. I don't know the brother's Hebrew name, but yeah, the main top leader of Sakari. All right, he came up under GMS. Okay, and it just only took him 8 years to come up on a level to be able to absolutely confound an elder, man. One of the head elders of GMS, Gabar, which I've already proven Gabar wrong. Okay, and my argument stands with the scriptures. Okay, but hey, I'm not going to get into that because that's another topic. So there's no reason to get into that at the moment. But yeah, getting to the main point of the video, man, is 95% of you Christian so-called truthers on YouTube, you ain't got the truth, man. Okay. For one, just the other day, I was watching a YouTube page. I believe it was called I think her YouTube page was named "He Hears Us" or something like that, or "His Calling," something like that. I can't remember the YouTube name. But what I did is I just looked at this person's video list because I found a video from theirs that somebody sent me. So I went and checked it out. And here, excuse me. Salakia. Um, but yeah, I was looking at the video of hers, and I'll be honest, she actually was on point with what she said. All right, now I know the scriptures say in the book of Corinthians, I believe it's First Corinthians the 14th chapter, it says, "I suffer not a woman to teach." Right, so the Lord isn't with women to teach, man. Okay, and that also cuts you Christian churches, man. All right, because a majority of you churches, you have women get up on the stage, man. All right, sometimes there's some churches that the pastor and his wife, they might go up there and so-called teach. Okay, and I've been to some before. Okay, but that's going off, man. All right, because a woman is not supposed to teach the scriptures. That's only for a man to do, not a woman. Okay, so for one, that lady who had that YouTube page, she's in violation of the scriptures because if you're a woman, you're not really supposed to be teaching. All right. Now the video that I was watching from her was about the oh, now I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna get this video taken down. Inside joke. Yeah, but she was saying something about the transgender children. And it's sick what this man's doing, man. All right? And people will accept this now, man. They think this is normal. Where, you have children, right, who might be, 5 years old. And you know how children are, man. All right? And when I say a child, I mean a person from birth to puberty. Because that's lucky about that. That was my phone in the distance over there. Um, but when I mean children, I mean a person from birth to puberty. Okay, because a person becomes an adult at sexual maturity. Okay, so I wanted to make that clear, and that's what I'm referring to. Okay, so you know, um, children, their minds are not fully there, man. So it's easy for a boy to think, yeah, yeah. I mean, I wanna be a girl. Okay, then an adult will take him seriously and say, "Yeah, okay, you want to be a girl? Well, hey, you sound sincere like you want to. Let's go to the doctors, and we'll give you surgery. All right, and hey, now we'll make you into a woman or a girl. Okay, we'll make you into the opposite sex. That's evil, man. Because you know what? First of all, again, they're just children, so they don't know what they're really doing, man. Okay, they really don't know. First of all, children don't know anything about their private areas, man. Okay, so they don't fully understand you know the real difference between being a boy and being a girl, man. Okay, so after they undergo the surgery, this can never be undone, man. So a lot of people who end up going under this, what's the word I'm looking for? Or I should say, who end up undergoing this surgery, they end up either committing suicide or, suffering from major depression because you can't reverse that surgery, man. Okay, and that's truly goddamn sick, man. It shows that America is Mystery Babylon. Because first of all, when you read in the scriptures, right, when the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, keep in mind, man, yeah, they back then they had certain technology. That's true. But however, with that being said, back then, 2,000 some years ago, well, actually not 2,000 years ago, I would say probably around 6,000 years ago, when Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed. I don't know the exact time, but I know that the 7 days of creation was 7,000 years, man. So don't believe those Christians when they say the Earth's only 6,000 years old. They ain't know what the hell they're talking about. But anyway, um, however long that was ago, that doesn't really matter. The point of the matter is that back then they did not have the technology to be able to change a man into a woman and vice versa. Okay? Now they do. Now they can do it, man. That's why when you read in the scriptures, it says, in the day of judgment, the Lord would have rather to have mercy on Sodom and Gomorrah than for that great city. Okay? Sodom and Gomorrah, that's nothing compared to America, man. I mean, goddamn. I mean, there's no comparison, man. There's no comparison to what the ancient city was doing compared to what America is doing, man. I mean, yeah, back then, you had what are they called? Oh, yeah, homosexuals, and pedophiles, and people who practice bestiality. And yeah, that was normal back then. But then look at the Lord. Look what the Lord did to it. Okay, but guess what? Now you got the same exact thing, even worse, happening here. So now what's gonna happen about it? You clowns? And I've seen your videos, man. There's certain guys on YouTube, right? They'll talk about, yeah, well, I know that in the scriptures America's Babylon, but Jesus still blessed America, right? God still blessed America. But when you ask them, well, what verse in the Bible can you use to show me where the Lord blessed Babylon? There's no verse you can show me. I've read the whole book, including the Apocrypha. It's not in there, man. There's no verse you can show me where the Lord blessed the wicked. It's not in there. Okay? The only reason people believe that, the only people, or I should say, the only reason people believe that America is a nation under the Most High is because that's what they have been taught from when they were a child. Okay? The scriptures say, train up a child in the way he should go, so when he is old, he should not depart from the faith. So, what they do is, they, for example, with the whole schooling thing, all right, they teach children when they're young, so when they're older, you know, they already got their minds worked on, so now they will automatically go along with the plans of the elites, man. All right, for example, let's give a good example with the whole. Oh, just the other day it was 9/11. All right, just the other day it was a 9/11 happened 18 years ago. Okay, now for one, the Most High was the one who did 9/11. Amos chapter 3 verse 6. For if there is evil in a city, have the Most High not done it? Uh, what is it? 1 Samuel 2 and 6. For I, the Lord, I kill and make alive. Right. So the Most High is the one who did that evil. Okay. And really, if you want to get technical, the Lord put it in the hearts of the American government to carry out the act. Okay, because it was your government who brought down those buildings, man. That wasn't no terrorist, man. All right, and I'm sure we've all seen the videos on YouTube, man. Even the what are they called? Yeah, even the construction workers who you know put the building together, they even came out and admitted, yeah, man, jet fuel can't melt those type of that type of steel, man, because they have to use a certain type of steel to be able to make a skyscraper like that, man. They can't use average materials that they would use to build our houses. You have to use a way stronger material. Okay, so the stronger it is, the more heat is needed to be able to melt that kind of material. Okay, so even they will admit that it really is impossible for those steel beams to melt. They'll even admit that. All right, there was eyewitness accounts weeks prior to the bombing of mysterious trucks pulling up to the building, and people witness them like military individuals. All right, taking substances to the bottom of the building. All right, so I mean, it's not a coincidence, man. All right, it was, or as they say, right, 9/11 was an inside job, which it was. All right, but that's really, I mean, I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole other, you know, hey, it actually goes into what we're talking about, though, man, because a lot of you truth channels, you really don't got the truth. For example, man, back before, just a few months before I started my channel, my first channel, because it's the fifth one, the fifth channel. Um, but just a few months before I started my channel, there's an individual who started his YouTube page. He's still on there. He calls himself the Call for an Uprising. Now I was subscribed to Call for an Uprising when he only had less than yeah, he had 13,000 subscribers when I first subscribed to his channel. Okay, now let's put it this way. Um, I, for a good year or so, I watched every single video this individual put up. Okay, but then when I started getting to a GMS and stuff like that, which I've been following GMS for, I'd say, maybe just about 4 years. Okay, which again, I've been in this truth for 6 years, but I came across the apostles 4 years ago, around there. Um, but yeah, before then, I used to believe in all that Christianity and stuff, which I still count that as the truth because, unlike these so-called Christians, I actually did research. For example, I knew the mark of the beast was a chip. I knew America's Babylon. I knew a decent amount of information from the scriptures before I came across the apostles of GMS, based on my own independent research. Okay, um, but a call for an uprising, man. Some of the things he says are right. Now, I don't know if he knows that America's Babylon or not, because I've never seen him really do videos about that. All he really does videos on, for the most part, don't get me wrong, sometimes he'll bring up certain scriptures and make good points. For the most part, all his channels just focused around, like the latest scandals they got, going on, like the whole Pizzagate thing back a few years ago. Right? Oh man, I would argue and say that guy did a damn over 10 videos on that subject, man. I was like, come on, man, do one video on it and move on, man. First of all, that's not necessarily such a big deal, man. Because for one, it doesn't matter if everybody knows about that. What the hell can you do about it? I mean, it already happened. As I shouldn't think of it like this, but as I'm sitting here right now, making this lesson to be put out on the World Wide Web, there's a pedophile taking advantage of a child right now. But guess what? The Lord did that. Like the Lord was the one who set up that situation. Okay? And it just is what it is, man. All right? You got a saying, it's a cruel, dark world out there, which it is. Okay? What is it? Job 9:24, for the earth was given to the hands of the wicked. Okay? Proverbs 29:2, for when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked are in authority, the people mourn. Okay? So, and that's another thing, man. What do you see in this society? Everybody is suffering, man. And why is that? It's because your rulers, your so-called rulers of this society, they're the issue, man. First of all, money isn't the problem. If you don't notice, if you just got to do a quick Google search on this, that there is enough money in the world to make every single man, woman, and a child a millionaire. Every individual in the world could have $1 million in his hand, and there will still be billions of dollars left over. What the issue is that they take the money for themselves and they leave the rest with nothing. All right, and it just shows this is unjust. This is an unjust society. Okay, they'll pay a basketball player, in the NBA. They'll pay him, make a deal with him. Yeah, if you do this, sport with us, for a number of years, we'll give you $100 million. But yet, this one man could get $100 million for shooting a basketball into a hoop on live TV. But you got millions of people who are homeless, right? So it shows you how evil it is, man. They'd rather take that money for themselves. Another thing, man, why does one man need to have $1 billion in his bank account? There's people on Earth who have multiple billions and billions of dollars in their bank accounts. That's unjust, man. That's wicked. That is absolutely wicked. And it just shows you, man, America is the issue of the world, man. Hillary Clinton, if you were watching the elections back in 2016, Hillary Clinton said herself that once something is pushed in America, then it gets pushed out to the whole world. Okay? Now, if you know the scriptures, it mentions in Revelation, the 17th chapter, the last verse, it says, in that great city that you saw, or Slaki, that woman that you saw was the great city who reigns over the kings of the earth. And what is it? Who's that talking about? That's talking about America. That's not the Vatican. For you, oh, for the stubborn Israelite out there. I can't forget about that guy. All right. Another thing I got to get into, man. I mean, there are so many, topics I can bring out, to show how these Christian truthers are leading people astray. Another one with the whole UFO thing, man. If you know the scriptures, which even the one brother, the loving Christian, he agrees on this now. It took him like 2 years to get on board with this doctrine, but hey, that brother teaches it now. So hey, hey, the Lord could be dealing with that brother, man. I respect that brother. He is, even though he's teaching something that's wrong, I still respect him. That he will actually stay on YouTube and teach this truth. So I respect him for that. Okay, even though he's teaching stuff that is wrong. Okay, we got to give respect where it is due. Okay, now the whole UFO thing, man. And I've seen these Christians' YouTube videos. They teach. There's another doctrine going around out there with the whole Project Blue Beam. Which here's a fun fact, by the way. The first video I ever created was actually on Project Blue Beam. Okay, just fun fact out there. But if you don't know what Project Blue Beam is, basically it's just a military device that they can use to basically project an image in the sky that is not really there. Okay, so what they could do, which a lot of people have been saying this, that they're going to maybe stage a false return. Okay, the scriptures tell you that if it were possible, they would even deceive the very elect. So one way they could do that is they could actually make it look like the Most High is actually going to return. All right, they could put an image in the sky and make it look like this white Jesus is coming down with his angels, but in reality, it's just a computer hologram that they put in the sky. Okay, and they might do that. Okay, so if you see a so-called white Jesus coming down in the sky, don't believe that, because according to the Bible, God's a so-called dark-skinned man. Okay, and first of all, Jesus is coming back on UFOs. Okay, not no well, and here's a cut to you Christians as well. The scriptures say is the Lord's coming back on a horse, a cloud, and a chariot. What one is it? All right, in Psalms it says a cloud, Revelation it says a horse, and many other books it mentions the word cloud, or a chariot. Isaiah, what is it, 66 and 15, for the Lord shall come with his chariots. All right. Psalms, it tells you in Psalms the Lord shall come on a cloud. It tells you in Revelation, the 6th chapter, that I saw a white horse, and him that sat on him went forth conquering and to conquer. Right, so what one is it? The answer is they're all the same. They're all actually referring to a UFO. Okay? These UFOs, matter of fact, the other day I was just watching a video somebody put up online, and they showed when they recorded 9/11, right? You could see multiple UFOs flying around in the background, man. Okay? And it was real. It was real footage. You could actually see these UFOs flying in the distance. All right? These UFOs are God's chariots, man. Okay? And I've seen these videos. I said before, it's going to be said again. All right? These guys, I've seen what they say. They'll say, "Oh, if you ever see a UFO invasion, don't believe it, because that's just, that's Satan and his angels, coming back to deceive." Right? You got a new doctrine going around. If I'm not mistaken, Loving Christian believes this, or he did teach us not too long ago, that the false Christ, or as they call him, the Antichrist, which we know that there's no such thing as a Antichrist in the scriptures. But the thing is that they teach that this false Messiah is going to come down on a UFO. That's what they teach. So they say, yeah, when you see those UFOs, don't believe it, because that's Satan and his angels. All right? But that's not true. You guys are leading people astray, man. When you deal with the scriptures, it tells you that the Lord's going to return on UFOs. Now, it doesn't say the word UFO in there, because what does the word UFO mean? A unidentified flying object. Right, so that's obviously not going to be in the scriptures. It mentions them as a chariot. Okay? And you can read about that in the book of, what is it? If I'm not mistaken, that's Ezekiel chapter 1 and Ezekiel chapter 10. You can read about those UFOs, man. Okay? You ever seen the movie Independence Day, the one with Will Smith in it? If you've seen the first one, remember that massive UFO was flying over New York City? But the thing is, the ironic thing is, they actually got that from the book of 2nd Ezra. Okay? It clearly mentions a massive UFO and the book of Second Ezra is the 13th chapter. Okay, so to make a long story short, man, 95% of you Christian, truth, so-called truth channels, you don't got the truth, man. You're leading people astray, man. And again, I know that, I would say almost 100% of these guys actually mean well. There might be one or two that's like, okay, I'm going to go on here and, deceive people. It's true, there's people out there. I'm sure there's some people getting paid to do certain things. But, almost 100% of them are actually sincere with what they believe. Okay? But guess what, though? As I always like to say, there is one truth, but there are many lies. So if everybody's out here teaching a different thing, well, guess what? One person has to have the truth, but if one person got the truth, everyone else was wrong. All right, I seen another video just the other day, and they said that I believe this was from the same lady I referenced at the beginning of this video. She did a video saying that the age of consent is according to the Bible, right? She did a video saying, "Oh, well, they're planning to abolish the age of consent. See, so the satanic system." Well, first of all, fool. All right, I'm going to call you a fool because the word fool means unlearned. You're not intelligent. Okay, if you actually knew anything about the scriptures, well, for one, you would have to call the Most High a pedophile then, because go read the book of Ezekiel, the 16th chapter. Well, what is that referring to? All right, if you're going to do a video saying that R. Kelly's a pedophile for trying to get with a 14-year-old, well, guess what? You also have to call King David a pedophile. 1 Kings 1 and 1. You have to call God a pedophile. Ezekiel 16th chapter. He referenced Israel, right, the nation of Israel, to a little girl growing up to becoming a woman. And you'll notice, if you read it, all right, if you read Ezekiel the 16th chapter, he took Israel as his own, which she hit sexual maturity. Okay? So you have to call God a pedophile as well. If you know history, all right, and even Esau's biblical scholars will tell you this. If you know history, you know that Joseph would have probably been in his 30s or 40s, all right, and Mary, the mother of who the world calls Jesus, right, in their eyes, the savior of the world, inside joke, um, she would have been around no older than 15. They say probably 12 to 14 is how old Mary was when she gave birth to so-called Jesus. So is Joseph the father of so-called Christ? Is he a pedophile now? All right. So, as I said, man, you guys really don't read, man. And if you do, then I don't know what the hell you're really thinking of, man. Because you guys, are not as intelligent as you guys claim to be. Here, hold on a second. All right, thank you, Malak23. I believe I'm pronouncing your name correct. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. Let's get into that for a second, man. All right. Yeah, man. It's always, good. Everybody don't get it. Let's not pretend this isn't true, man. Everybody likes to go on their YouTube page and look at how many subscribers they have. But guess what, though, man? That really isn't important. It doesn't matter if you got 10 subscribers. Okay? You see, whenever I subscribe to a person, right? I don't go on there and look at, okay, well, let me see how many subscribers these guys got. No, what I do is I skip past that. I mean, I'll look at that, I'll acknowledge how many are there. That's not really important, though. You go to the YouTube videos and you search down through there. If I see something I like to watch, yeah, okay, I'll add that to my likes, to say it correctly, my watch later list. If they say stuff that is correct and they keep doing it on, then I'll subscribe to the channel. Okay? If you see something I teach that you like, hey, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you put on the notification bell. Because something that's going on lately is YouTube, they won't notify you when your subscriptions have a new video uploaded. Okay? So, hey, Esau, it shows you, man, this man's getting ready to, to bring in this martial law, man. Okay. Another thing as well, man. Um, you Christians teach, like a call for an uprising. He starts his video off of saying, oh, well, we're coming against the New World Order. Well, first of all, when Christopher Columbus sailed over here to America, why did they call this land the New World? Self-explanatory, because this is the New World. So how the hell are you going to have a New World Order on the land that is literally called the New World? How the hell does that make sense? So the New World Order has already came. Okay? The New World Order is not coming. We already live in the New World Order, man. Okay? And, Lord willing, the Spirit will get on me and I'll, do a sit down explaining how and why that's the case. Okay? But anyway, with that being said, I want to give all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. With that being said, I want to say shalom.